Hold the line. Love isn't always on time. Hold the line. Love isn't always on time. That is the song of the day. That was Hold the Line by T.O. And today we're doing that time again. It's the Cup. The magic of the Cup. The FA Cup predictions is back for a new season. The 2020-21 season for this Emirates competition starts here. So let's get cracking into the games. Now, obviously with you know what going on, there's a lot of postponements in games. And unfortunately, it looks like the Southampton Shrewsbury game is unlikely to go ahead and might be more that get cancelled. So if they do, then obviously go with it. But if they don't, then stick with it. But it is what it is. Let's get into the games for this week. And that was the song of the week. But what's the theme of the week going to be? Well, it can only be one thing, can't it? Magic. Magic in terms of card tricks, in terms of pulling the rabbit out of the hat, and which team can pull the rabbit out of the hat this week and get a massive upset and to see their side through to round 4. Well, it will be very interesting to find out. But as I said, some games might not go ahead. We'll see which way it goes, but we're going to kick things off very simple with a clash between Aston Villa and Liverpool. It's a Friday night game, and we already know Aston Villa can do the bits against Liverpool. And the song of the week I've said, but the colour of the week is going to be purple. And I do feel that Villa have been a bit of a purple patch recently. They were unlucky against Man United, really good against Chelsea, and of course absolutely demolished Crystal Palace. So I think Aston Villa can beat anyone. And Liverpool have been struggling 3 games now on the bounce that they haven't got results. And Mo Salah's not been in the goals. Whether Liverpool play a weaker team is a question. In terms of this game, though, I see this actually being a bit of an upset. I think Villa know how to beat Liverpool. They've done it this season already. And, of course, they did it in the Cup for the EFL competition last season. So I'm going to say Aston Villa 3, Liverpool 1. And in terms of goal scorers, I might not do goal scorers for all the games this weekend, but I might do them for some. So we'll go and say some goal scorers in this game, and I think the opening goal of the matchup will come from Jack Grealish, if he plays. I mean, it's a tough one with the FA Cup, because sometimes you've got teams like Liverpool last season that were focusing on that title glory, and it's early in the season, so they might play some stronger players, but they were focusing on that, and they played pretty much all their youngsters, and then eventually got knocked out by Chelsea, of course. So, yeah, I don't know, but I think Grealish will get the first goal if he plays, and then Milner will get the equaliser for the Reds from the penalty spot, of course. He does like a cheeky little penalty. And then I think Villa will get back in ahead, and it will be for a player who doesn't get much game time in the league, but the Cup will be his time to shine. It's Keenan Davis. And then the third for Villa comes through Conor Hourihane. I think Liverpool might have a weak team, and that will be their downfall in this game. So yeah, 3-1 to the Villains. Now we've got a game between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Crystal Palace, and it's a tight one to call this one because neither team have really been scoring goals, and Palace have been a pretty poor team, to be honest, recently. Wolves, on the other hand, well, they've been a bit Jekyll and Hyde, really. They've had some really good wins against the likes of Arsenal, and, you know, they got a point, of course, in their game with Tottenham, and they beat Manchester. Which Manchester side was it? Oh, no, they beat Chelsea, sorry. But in terms of whether they can actually prioritise this cup, I mean, they'll probably still be pushing for top 10, but I don't know. It'll be hard to know what Nuno does. Whereas Crystal Palace, as I said, they've not been that great defensively, and you know, it's hard to call who's going to play in this game for Palace. Certainly not Zaha, in my opinion, but you never know. But I'm going to go with a Palace win. I think it'll be a dead game, and it'll be 0-0 after 90. But in extra time, Palace get the winner, because of course there is no replays, so it will go straight to penalties and extra time. And I think the winner for Palace in extra time will be James MacArthur. Now we've got a game between Boreham Wood and Millwall, and I really want to back Boreham Wood here. I mean, Millwall have not had the best of seasons. They've been all right, but they've just played really, really boring football. And Boreham Wood, it's near London, I do believe, and imagine the scenes that they got an upset here. It would just be incredible. I suppose Millwall is as well, near London, or at least in it. But the point is, do I see an upset here? Yes. Go on, Boreham Wood. You might as well, just to punish Millwall's poor play recently. I mean, they're not a bad team, Millwall. They just haven't been setting the world alight, to put it mildly. So I'm going to say Boreham Wood 1, Millwall 0 for our second upset of the games so far this week. Obviously, if you count Villa beating Liverpool these days an upset, because the season is crazy. So maybe that's not even an upset, but this definitely is. Boreham Wood 1, Millwall 0, and we're not going to predict scorers because, sorry Boreham Wood fans, but I don't know your players. Now we've got a game coming up against Rotherham for Everton. Now, Everton will be going into this thinking it has to be 3 points. I mean, to be fair, maybe last season, Rotherham's promotion, chasing season, they were really good. They could have won this game. This season, though, Everton look a much better team and Rotherham look a much worse team. They have really been struggling in the Championship, and Everton just seem to have a winning mentality, especially in the cup games. They were unlucky to obviously get knocked out of the Carabao Cup at the hands of Manchester United with some late magic from Edison Cavani. But in terms of Manchester United, they're actually playing this game tonight against Man City. So I think Man United could win that, and it will probably be a win for Manchester United, in my opinion, in that final with Tottenham. Basically Solskjaer gets one over Mourinho. But no, going back to Man United, going back to Everton, who of course got beaten by Man United in the cup in the Carabao Cup. In the FA Cup, I don't think that Everton will set the world alight, but I think they will get a win here against the Rotherham team, as I said, low on confidence. So we're going to go for 3-0 here to the Toffees, and I think it will be comfortable stuff. With goal scorers, well, we'll say, I think Richarlison will get the opening goal, Andre Gomez gets the next one, and then the third goal comes from Yerry Mina. Now we've got a game that's between Luton Town and Reading, and it's an all-championship clash, this one. But Luton, I don't know, they've not been that great, have they? I mean, of course, there's a bit of bias coming into this because I'm a Watford fan, but at the end of the day, I don't know. Reading have been pretty good, but it'll be interesting to see, won't it, if Luton prioritise the FA Cup this season. But I do fancy Reading to be the bigger team, the better team, so we'll say 3-0 to Reading in this game. Then we've got Norwich against Coventry, and they faced not too long ago in the Championship, and I think that was a fairly comfortable Norwich win. Might have been a tight one, but they got the job done, and I think they're going to get the job done again here. Coventry might have a go in this game and really push for it, but I do think they're probably not going to play all their stronger players, because they're still, Coventry, in a bit of a relegation battle. So the likes of Godden and plenty others probably won't play, but I think Norwich still have a good squad. You could rotate it and still win this game fairly comfortably. So 3-1 to the Canaries at Carrow Road. Now we've got a game between Nottingham Forest and Cardiff, and I think this might be a game that a lot of people predict to be tight, and it actually is the opposite. Oh, bless me. Yeah, tickle up my nose. I think Nottingham Forest will get the win here. Although it's probably Cardiff that are the better team in the Championship, I'm going to go with the home side. Cardiff have been quite iffy, so we'll say 3-0 to Nottingham Forest. And the next one is going to be a clash between Crawley and Derby County. Now, unfortunately for Derby, their squad has had to go into isolation. There's been a rise in cases at the club. So I think this means that either the youth team have to play this game for Derby, or some of the staff get involved. I don't know if that's the case. I think there was the Czech Republic game against Scotland ages ago for the Nations League, where some of the staff got involved or something like that, or maybe they were able to, get around it with getting players in. But nonetheless, it's going to be a very tough game this for Derby, just because it's facing a team in Crawley that will be up for it. They're one of the underdogs. They're at home, but it is a real shame to not see any fans in the stadiums due to obviously being in Tier 5. A lot of people would not be able to gather and go to these games. It takes away a little bit of the magic of the cup, but at the end of the day, the games have to be played safely. So I think Crawley are still going to lose this, despite Derby's absentees. So I think Wayne Rooney will hopefully, for his part, get a win. I mean, I'm not sure if Wayne Rooney's one of the people involved in the cases, but I don't think he is. I think he'll still be manager, and he'll see a very comfortable win. As I said, I think if there's fans in the stadium, maybe we see a Crawley win, but I think Derby ultimately will put out a professional performance, 5-0 to Derby County. Now we've got a game between Blackburn Rovers and Doncaster, and I'm backing a 3-0 win to Rovers here. They've been quite good in the league. Adam Armstrong, obviously a very good player, and he got back to his goal-scoring form in the last game against Birmingham. And Bradley Dack, I mean, what an absolute player. It's the year of the Dack, really, and he got his goal in that game. Very well taken. And, generally, I think Blackburn have been quite good, and I think Tony Mowbray will go into this thinking, let's try and get the win, especially against a Doncaster team that, probably shouldn't be underestimated, but are beatable. So, 3-0 to the Blackburn. Then we've got Blackpool, I should say, against West Brom. Oh, Big Sam, he's playing away to Blackpool. It is very, very interesting here. I've got a feeling West Brom, they're so low on confidence that they could actually not win this game. And I think they'll draw it 0-0. Blackpool have been pretty up and down. They've had a bit of a decline over the last few seasons, and the fan base has gone completely potty, really, with the ownership and everything else. But they've still got some good players. Delfinizo, is it? Or Delfonso? Something like that. So on their day, Blackpool can be quite good going forward. But I don't think that either side here will find the moment of magic and will be quite blunt going forward. We've seen West Brom struggling to get goals and, to be fair, struggling to concede them. But I don't think Blackpool are that good going forward either. So 0-0 on this game. And then on penalties, I think 3-2 to Blackpool for the biggest of upsets. Now we've got a game between Bristol Rovers and Sheffield United, and a lot of people will be backing Bristol Rovers based on Sheffield United's worst start to a season for a long, long time. And could they get even worse than Derby County did in the Premier League all the way back with, I think they got 11 points or maybe even 9 points. It's been really, really demoralising for them. But maybe this kind of game against a team like Bristol Rovers that you'd expect them to beat on the day might be a big point in Sheffield United's season. If they can get wins, they can get confidence. They haven't been able to get wins this season in the Premier League, but they have been facing other better teams than them. And Bristol Rovers, we know, are still a good team, but not Sheffield United. A problem here, I don't think, unless Chris Wilder doesn't really prioritise the cup and just plays a weak team. If he loses this one, maybe you could get the sack. But it just seems the owners have such faith in him. So he's probably going to stay, and he's probably going to get a win here. 2-0 to the Blades. And I think goal scorers will be, first of all, McGoldrick and then Ben Osborne. Okay, now we've got a game between Burnley and MK Dons. And I'm going to go for a score draw here. I think Burnley, they're kind of involved in a relegation battle. They have had a lot of injury problems. Ben Mee, obviously, coming back was so massive for them. They've really struggled with goals going forward. But I do think there are a few players light, really, in midfield. So they need to sign some players in the window. But obviously, with the takeover, they'll hope that will happen and happen imminently. There's been some controversies around the takeover, but I think that's all going to be sorted out fine. And I think that they're going to go for this, but it might leave them exposed, and especially if they play a weakened team. As I said, they've got a bit of a fight on their hands to stay out of danger. They're not in the bottom three, I don't think, but they might just creep in there if they're not careful. So I think MK Dons will go into this game with belief and get the 2-2 draw, and then I think that Burnley will win it 4-2 on penalties. And now we've got a game between Exeter City and Sheffield Wednesday. And I'm going to go for a 1-0 dub to the Owls. Obviously, Sheffield Wednesday sacking Tony Pulis. Pretty controversial because he was literally at the club for so short of a time. But, Sheffield Wednesday, they got to do what they got to do. And I can't really, point the finger with Watford. The Watford way is not exactly very generous with managers. So, yeah, but there's a game here for Sheffield Wednesday that they should win against Exeter. Maybe Exeter will, pack a punch, who knows, but I'm not seeing it. And a 1-0 dub there. Oldham facing Bournemouth, and this is a mismatch. We've seen Bournemouth, sometimes knocked out by, smaller teams in previous cup competitions. I think they lost to, was it Preston or maybe one of the League One sides a few seasons ago, but I think they should do well. They've got a good squad and they can have a second string team and probably still win this. So 4-0 in my opinion to the Cherries against Oldham. Then we've got QPR taking on Fulham in a London derby, and I think Fulham really, are they going to be playing this game? Because there's been rumours that, there's so many cases going around, and I don't know if Scott Parker still has to isolate, but their game obviously with Burnley got called off, and if they get, a few games behind in terms of getting games called off, they could literally be bottom of the league. So, yeah, it's not good for Fulham right now, and it's unfortunate about their rising cases. So I don't know if this game's going to go ahead. Unlikely to go ahead, but if it does, we will say a 3-2 Fulham win. And I think QPR will, if it happens, go for it. And they've got Bright Say Samwell, they've got a nice couple of young players, but so have Fulham. So provided it does go ahead, I think it will be a marginal stuff for the Cottagers. Then we've got a game that's between, of course, Stoke City and Leicester City. Now, this is going to be a tight game in my opinion. Stoke have not been too bad. Against Tottenham, I think it was, they weren't terrible, only losing that game by a couple of goals. So they can put up a fight, and can Leicester do it on a rainy night in Stoke? We'll find out, but I think they can. I think you can have players like, Chowdhury maybe, if he's back from his injury. You can have players like, even players like Kaglar Soyuncu, who's come back from injury. If they want to rest the likes of Johnny Evans and the likes of Fofana, they can bring in Soyuncu for this game. See what happens. They've got Iheanacho if Vardy wants to have a rest ahead of that game in the game week 19 that they face against Southampton. So yeah, I don't know. It could be either way really, but I think Leicester will win 2-1 on the day. And goals, I think first of all a goal from Nick Powell for Stoke, and then goals for Leicester from first of all James Maddison. I think he might play this game. There's a chance. And the second goal for Leicester, let's go for Damari Gray. Now we've got a game that is up, of course, between Stevenage and Swansea, and I don't think this is going to be an easy game at all for Stevenage. They've really struggled this season, and Swansea have been really, really good. Like, fair play to beating us last time. They outplayed us, let's be honest. And Jamal Lowe, Andre Ayew, Matt Grimes, all good players. But apparently, Wolves have called back the midfielder that is known as Morgan Gibbs-White, so he won't be staying. But they still have got, as I said, a good team. So 3-0 to the Swans here. I think Steve Cooper's side will do the business. Now it's going to be a game between, of course, Wycombe Wanderers and Preston North End. And I'm going to go with a 3-0 win to Preston. Oh, nearly got carried away there. No, Wycombe have been unfortunate this season, but I don't see them having any intention of going for the cup. They really have got their hands really in the thick of things in the Championship for them to stay up. So, yeah, I think it's unlikely for them to really go for it. Preston obviously might not go for it either, but at the end of the day, they've got the better squad. So, yeah, 3-0 to the away side. Arsenal facing Newcastle, an all-Premier League clash again. This might be an interesting one, but Newcastle in the Cups, can they really do it? I don't know. Arsenal have been, a team that's won the FA Cup quite a lot recently. They've been in better form in the last three, but you've played Brighton and West Brom, so do we really play much into that? I don't know. Newcastle have been quite defensively solid recently, so it might not be tough. It might not be easy, I should say, for Arsenal to break them down, but I think they will eventually. They're, still getting some good players in that team, and Saka and Lacazette and Aubameyang when he comes back from his confidence hit, really. So 2-0 to the Gunners, and then we have Brentford against Borough. Middlesbrough will be hoping for an upset in the fact that Brentford are probably the stronger team, and we saw against Spurs they can really play well. Unlucky with that goal that was disallowed for the offside for Ivan Toney. I mean, he's sitting down. He's sitting down and he gets called off for offside. It's ridiculous. Anyway, moving on quickly. I think Borough will get the win here. I think they are quite good away from home, and I think Britis Ombolonga will come back for this game and get the win, get the winner. 1-0 to Borough. It won't be a spectacular game, I don't think, because both sides still want to push for promotion. And then Huddersfield-Plymouth. I think Huddersfield, easy win here. 3-0 to the Terriers. Now we have Manchester United versus Watford. Oh, dearie me. I mean, it's a tough game. And for any Championship side, going to Old Trafford is not brilliant. It's not ideal stuff. When I saw the draw, I was just like, okay, we might be out of the cup. We never do well in the cup, let's be honest. Apart from that season, we, of course, got all the way to the final in that brilliant season under Javi Gracia in 18-19. But I don't know. We really need to push for second place in the Championship, and it's starting to slip away from us. It's got to be said. A lot of Watford fans getting very pessimistic right now, and I kind of understand them, but you've got to keep believing. I'm always a believer that you've got plenty more points and chances to pick up points in this season, and we've got a game in hand, of course, with that game against Millwall in the league. So a win against Man United would be amazing, but if we lose, we keep going, we chin up sort of thing, and we move on to the next one. So it would be a nice distraction for any team, and especially for us, based on our up and down form, and I think it should be a nice distraction to go to a club like Manchester United and the Theatre of Dreams, and hopefully our dreams will come true. I said, I think a few seasons ago, that I thought that the 2021-22 season, I'd see Watford get the FA Cup trophy. It's not that season, so maybe this is not our time, and if we get promoted and we're back in the Prem, then there's probably more chance of us winning the Cup. But knowing us, we'll probably be up to the Prem, do a Wigan, get relegated. Now, I'm joking. But I've got to be optimistic, and I've got to say Watford win, even though it is a very, very tough game. But at the end of the day, they've got that game against Man City tonight, so hopefully we'll be playing against a second-string team. There might be a chance of that, and, Man United, they do well in the Cups usually, especially the FA Cup. But, as I said, they'll want to get to that final against Tottenham, and Man United have been pretty good in the league, so maybe they want to focus on that, who knows. But, if Munoz goes to Old Trafford and gets a win, it's a statement, isn't it? It's a statement that he, likes the Cup, and maybe he will like the Cup. We've not seen, obviously, what he's thought about it with him coming from Dynamo Tbilisi. So, yeah, if he brings back that win, the euphoria of it, the euphoria of the Norwich win that we got recently, that'll be back and in the squad with really 2 times over. That'll be amazing. And let's get Sweet Caroline back in the training ground, back in the dressing room to get the win, hopefully. But yeah, no, let's just get that cup tie and hopefully see what we can do. Let's show Man United what we're about. And if I am, reacting to a very, very poor 6-0 loss to Manchester United, then we'll take it on the chin. We'll move on and think Championship is what it's all about. But yeah, it's the cup. It's a chance for confidence, and it's a chance for doing better in other divisions. So yeah, let's just see how it goes at the end of the day. There has been some really poor performances, you've got to say, in the league for Watford, especially with those games a few games ago against Huddersfield and earlier on in the season against Barnsley, and we've actually got those 2 next in the league. So, if we do lose Man United heavily, it will mean we need to really put all our eggs in the Championship. But yeah, I think in terms of the Championship, just quickly, we do need to really improve, and it's so soon after that Huddersfield game since we last played them. So in a way, that's quite nice. We can almost put it right psychologically, hopefully. So we'll see how that pans out. But I'm not sweating over it. It's Man United. If they play Lingard and if they play Lee Grant in goal, then happy days. If not, it is what it is. Let's move on, but I'm going to say 2-1 to the Golden Boys. Come on, you Horns. With goals from the debutant Zinka Nagel. What a player we got on a free, can I just say. Absolute buy, that is. Great steal. And I think he'll get the first goal. Imagine. Martial gets the equaliser, and then the winner from Nathaniel Chalobah. Okay, let's speed through these now, because we've got still quite a lot of games to get through. The next one to predict, though, is going to be Southampton and Shrewsbury. And I said how this game is unlikely to go ahead with the Shrews having a rise in cases. So, yeah, just, block your ears if you're very much thinking like I am, this is not going to happen. But if it does, I'm saying a 5-0 Southampton. Brilliant against Liverpool. And Southampton do quite well in the FA Cup sometimes. So, I think they've got Che Adams, obviously trying to recover from that concussion. And if he's back and they start to go on a little run, they can play him instead of Danny Ings, and they can play Jack Stevens instead of Vestergaard when he's fit. So they've got a lot of options, have the Saints, and the way they go forward and press, they're going to be an exciting team to watch. So yeah, now we've got a game between Barnsley and Tranmere, and Tranmere, of course, fair play to them last season. I mean, we were involved in a relegation battle, so maybe we took our foot off the pedal a little bit in the cup. But they did do well to come back against us at the Vic from 2-0 down to draw 2-2. Or was it 3-0 down? Yeah, no, it was 3. So that makes it even more embarrassing. But it was a weak team, to be fair. We put out all our youngsters. But yeah, fair play, Tranmere. This season, though, they haven't been good. And obviously, with the game, the league getting null and voided. And I think Tranmere did get relegated. So not ideal stuff. But I think on the horizon, Tranmere fans can hope for better things, because the cup does bring them success and happiness, and I think they'll get a 2-0 win here against Barnsley. Now we've got Bristol City against Portsmouth. It's a 30-minute one this week. I'm treating you. But in this game, I think Bristol City might not win. Just putting it out there. I think Portsmouth have been quite good in League One, and they have a lot of good players. So yeah, just going for it. 2-2. And I think on penalties, it will be 2-1 to Bristol City. So the Robins, in my opinion, will just escape here. But yeah, it could be a good cup tie. So then we've got Chelsea against Morecambe. And I hate to say it again, people, but this game might not even happen, because Morecambe apparently have cases as well, I think. So yeah, not ideal stuff. And not ideal for any Chelsea players, really, and for the Chelsea fans, because I think they've got a game against Fulham after this. And Fulham, of course, we know, have had a lot of cases. So that could be 2 games postponed. But if it does go ahead, I'm going to go with a comfortable Chelsea win. I don't think Chelsea have been free scoring this season. They've struggled defensively a bit, but against Morecambe, they should keep a clean sheet. And I'm saying 3-0 to the Blues. Then it's Cheltenham versus Mansfield Town. And I think this is going to be an away win. Cheltenham, a bit iffy sometimes. And I do like Mansfield. I think they go about their work pretty well. So 2-0 on that game. Now we've got Crawley versus Leeds. I'm saying a 3-0 win to Leeds United. Crawley can go for it. You know, they're very much going to be in this game. And it's an interesting matchup to watch on, of course, BBC One. But I think I'm going to go with the Leeds win. They've been impressive. And they've got people like Jamie Shackleton. And, you know, when Strujic is playing in this game, he could probably keep a clean sheet as well. So I think Leeds fans, you've got to be pretty happy with this game. Though you could say it's a potential for an upset, I don't think it will happen. Man City versus Birmingham next, and I'm going to go with a 2-1 to the Citizens. Man City haven't been brilliant, let's be honest, this season, but against Chelsea, they were the best they've been this season. Kevin De Bruyne absolutely running the show. Will he play in this game against Birmingham? Probably not. Man City had bigger fish to fry in the Carabao Cup and also in the Premier League. They need to really catch up with Liverpool. But to be fair, Man City have had a lot of COVID cases, and they, I think, had another 3 today. So, yeah, it's not good for them. But I do think this game probably will go ahead just about, and I'll say a 2-1 victory for City, with Birmingham probably putting up a fight, but they'll do enough. The champions, or the champions of 2 seasons ago. Now we've got Marine against Tottenham. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Marine. I'm sorry, I just have to go for it. Marine, imagine the scenes if you could win this. It would be amazing. Yeah, Tottenham have been really good this season. Will they play a strong team for the FA Cup? To be fair, it probably might be quite strong, but I would just love to see a Marine win. It's as simple as that. Nothing against Tottenham. It's just Marine. They're going to be the story. If they win this game, it would just be amazing. So, yeah, that's what we're going to stick with. And let's see what happens. 2-1 to Marine. Newport against Brighton is the next one on the agenda. And I'm just looking at it. Yeah. So I think Newport might win this one. Just putting it out there. I think another upset. Brighton have been pretty poor, but they have scored some goals, and you know they're a bit up and down, Brighton. But I'm saying 3-2 to Newport. And then finally we've got Stockport versus West Ham on the Monday night action, and I'm going to go for a comprehensive Hammers win. They've been good this season. They shouldn't lose this game certainly. So 4-1 to the Hammers, and that wraps up my predictions. Thanks for watching. Try and get yours in the comment section below. Bye-bye.